Hey guys, just getting some work finished up on the Aspen. So far we've done a lot. We've switched it all over EFI. Got all the plumbing done to it. I had to run a new line, use the old line as a return line just because I'm lazy. We've switched it over to an electric fan. Still got a little bit of wiring to do. A lot of wiring with the EFI setup. We had to switch over the water temp gauge. Wasn't the right one for a Mopar 318 port, but I don't know if anyone else has done a EFI 318. Kind of a new thing. It didn't really have much substance to go on there. Also didn't look very hard, so probably my own fault. But from here we're working on getting the heater to work because it's about 25 degrees in Minnesota right now, and yeah, it might be nice in Nashville when we get there, but it is not very nice right now. So I'm working on soldering up a leaky heater core that I've had since I bought this car in 2018. It used to work, used to be in the car, but it used to also leak antifreeze on my wife's shoes. And when she wore white shoes, she was not very happy with me. So yeah, that's what you'll be seeing today. We got some exhaust to weld up still, but the car is damn near ready. We should be able to start it tonight, so I'm pretty excited for it.
So I have this covered in flux, and then I have that covered in flux.
Even up and make it stick better.
Well, you heat the, you don't melt the solder, you melt the piece. You heat the piece.
It's a birthday candle.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Oh.
Hey, did you happen to get wire?
No. I knew there was something. I walked around the automotive section of Fleet Farm and like, I don't fucking know what I needed. Yeah, so that's why solder is different than welding. Because in welding, you heat the rod. Soldering, you heat the part. Other than that, it's the same principle. This is way better than fucking just regular solder. This is some good shit. And it smells like cancer, too.
Nice. Oh, there she goes. Ah! This is screw again. Alright. Okay, what's next? Let's do the easy one. Boom. Alright, that'll work. I gotta figure out the gauges, so I don't want to just leave them dangling in there. I think I'll leave them dangling in there. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm pretty fed up with this machine. Alright. Crap. Adjustable wrench because I don't care. Harbor Freight connectors because I don't care. It's gonna come back to bite me in the ass later on though. Probably in this video, but who knows. Worst case scenario, I'm out of gas. Best case scenario, I save money. Balling on a budget because balling ain't cheap. And I ain't got no money. All the loose ends that are, flying around. There's my howling coonhound. All the loose ends that are flying around are just gonna, fall out on the road. So, might not consider me a good citizen, but hey, at least I quit smoking, so I'm not throwing cigarette butts everywhere anymore. Paint filter for the win, baby. So, something happened to the initial cranking video, but I'll fill you in. We were finally at the point to start the car, but I had been up working on the swap until 4 a.m. the last night, and in my exhaustion, I hooked up the inline and the return line backwards.
Be able to bend the hard line over. Oh, head pressure!
Shit! Woo! No, it's all good. I got a spool. Just got it.
That kind of hurt.
Yeah, I bet. It sounded f***ing loud as shit.
Sounded like a potato can.
Alright, how much do you need?
Do you want to flare the end of this? So that way it doesn't do that?
It's fine.
Was this an absolute pain in the ass to press on here?
I don't think so. It was a pain in the ass, but it wasn't like the biggest deal in the world. Like the end fittings were much worse.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Boom! You know what we call that in the YouTube world, Tyler? Content. Shout out, subscribe, mention. No.
Here's something else you did wrong when you double.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to do two of them like that because it basically doesn't do anything. What you do is one of them that way and one of them this way. Then it offsets.
Because then way.
Then way.
Because then way. Holy shit, this is in it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Bish in it.
that much pressure definitely didn't wreck anything, but it does prove my point that there's a check valve in there because it was holding that pressure.
Well, yeah.
And that's why the fuel pump is pissed off because it is just trying to shove air through the
Oh, do that, Tucker. You're smarter than that, Tucker. Ow! You are loose enough to the point where you should expand.
Yeah, macking me. Stroke.
Then again, I think I hooked it up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like I knew which side was right. I just didn't have them on it.
Oh, No.
Oh no.
Don't do it.
Okay. Battery 92. Pretty good. Pretty good. But
All I heard was.
I think the.
You were saying.
Right. The gist of the story is that you don't need to have a $60,000 car, and you don't need to go buy something brand new to have fun.
I do like how our first episode is starting off with installing EFI because every time I watch one of those installing EFI kit videos, some of it, I'm always like, these motherfuckers, it's because they don't want to deal with a carburetor. Because, you know me, I like carburetors.
Mm-hmm.
I would never, ever do this swap to one of my vehicles. But the whole reason that I like old vehicles is because I don't have to deal with EFI.
Yeah, but the whole reason I want it is because gas mileage for Tennessee.
Yeah, well, and if I spend enough time, I could make that carb have gas mileage.
Yeah, well.
But the other thing is, every time we tune this carb, you're like, make the most power possible.
Yeah.
So that's why the timing's so hot, too. We probably want to back that timing off.
Well, the timing is not because of that. The timing's hot because the camshaft is advanced 8 degrees.
Did you advance the camshaft after you did the timing? No, because that's spark timing that's doing that. Mm-hmm. I've had camshafts advanced 8 degrees.
Well, we could back it off a little bit if you want.
That'd be better. Then it won't crank over hard like that. It's fine once it's running.
Well, I've had a timing light on it before. Do you want to put timing light on and try it again?
No, just let's
get
try
it running,
this.
then we'll do the timing light on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it should run.
Should. Ready for explosions. It gave it a shot of fuel, I heard it.
Nice.
It's because you got 2 springs on it.
Alright, I'll try it again.
What is that knocking?
Knocking?
Yeah. Fire it back up, come out here and listen to it.
This was our first all is lost, mission abort, we're gonna lose the shop moment. Fortunately, after cutting open the oil filter and digging through it, we regained faith, then turned our heads to the real problem: detonation and hot timing.
So, no metal shavings. Ooh. Gasket material. Because Tucker is cheap. And so is this car. We're all good. Anyway, fired the motor up again. Slightly retarded the distributor. And it purred like a kid, really. At that point, it was 12 o'clock in the morning, and we needed to get going to sleep because we had been working on it all day. And we were dying of carbon monoxide poisoning, mostly. We had the garage doors up because I think it was actually -10. And we were using silver solder. Car was running in here for at least 45 minutes, I'd say. And all kinds of different fumes. Torches were running. It was terrible. But car seemed like it was ready to go. We had 13 hours of driving in the morning, and we wanted to make it to Clarksville, Tennessee by 8 o'clock, which was a holy grail Hail Mary, because this car had only been running for about an hour at that point. So yeah, it was fun. I don't know. What do you think of this car, sweetie? What do you think of this car?
Well, it's been in our relationship from the get-go, so it's kind of like our first child. Not really, though.
Yeah. What do you hate about this car?
I'm pretty sure a pocketbook or two has died with this car.
Or 4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Lot of hours taken away from family. Yeah. Well, what do you love about this car?
Well, it was, as we call it, the Aspen days when we started dating. This was pretty much what we spent most of our time together on. I helped get this car going. Pretty much everybody that was around us helped get this car going. So it's like, this is the car.
What's your favorite memory in the car?
Favorite memory? The first time it was running well enough to just floor it on the one stretch of the road down here, and that was the first time I was actually quite scared to beat a vehicle in view.
Cool. Anything else to say about it?
It's the Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other cars like them. What did you think when you first got to the scrapyard?
Well, I didn't buy it from a scrapyard, so I got it from a guy who bought it from a closing scrapyard that they were actually going to scrap the car from. I mean, this car had been sitting for years, but you know, no one's gonna scrap an old classic, especially something that says RT on the side of it, because, you know, badges make boomers happy or whatever. But yeah, I got it from a guy who saved it from a closing scrapyard that was actually tearing up all kinds of old metal. And he had a 72 Dart, just like our neighbors, and it was beautiful. Actually, I think it was the exact same color as our neighbors. And I think it was a 340 car, just a nice car. And he loved that one, but he had, you know, 40-50 grand into that car, and he didn't feel like spending that money on this car. But the main problem with this car is that you just cannot find parts. I have bought everything off of other old salvageable cars because it's just not possible.
What are your hopes to get this car to?
This car? An oak tree at 125 miles an hour?
Let's go with a better answer.
I hope to drive this car. Well, I hope to drive it to Nashville, but I did that. And I suppose it'd be cool to let my son drive it to prom or maybe on its first date or something. That'd be cool. I'd love to drag it. I'd love to blow the doors off some new fancy cars that people think that they're so fancy and expensive and have the largest in town because they spent 80 grand on a loan that they're gonna pay off for 6 years, like my buddy. But now, I guess my my next big thing with this car is just gonna be driving it in Missouri on the rolling hills. It's just beautiful down there, and that's what I would like to do.
If you could describe the car to have a personality, what kind of personality would it have?
It's a bitch.
I don't want to argue with that.
Yeah, that's it. It's a bitch. It's when I got it, it did not like me because it's like, why did you wake me up? I've been sleeping for so long and I was so peacefully asleep, and it was like, why did you take me out of my beautiful grass bed that I've been laying at for 20 years? Just let me die already. And nowadays it's actually, even before I put the EFI on it, it started waking up like, hey, you know what, maybe that grass bed wasn't as good as it, was all out to be.